Hello everybody and welcome to this video where I want to present the results of the Heroes of the Storm Census. This is just a short overview. If you want to have a more detailed information, you can download this infographic, or you can also download a detailed PDF document. I must admit here my English is not that fine and it's not my first language, so I want to apologize for bad vocabulary and spelling in advance. Yes, what is to say? There's some basic data. There were like 86 different countries and a total number of nearly 4,000 participants. The this thing is called census because the focus was laid on the game's player base, about their age, origin, favorite universe, maps, game mode, and so on. I know it's a real census, but I think it catches the topic. And the other questions later in the survey about balance, shop and esports and all this stuff, they are more kind of a bonus that were added to give a feeling for some topics and maybe some entrance points for other surveys soon. Though the results are surely not representative, they still provide some interesting data. Yes, as you can see, it was posted on Reddit and on all forums of the Battle.net, except for the Chinese one. It didn't work somehow, but at least it worked for Korea and Taiwan. But all in all, it was quite hard to reach the Asian communities. Yes, well, let's start. It's just a short overview. Feel free to give feedback, but now let's go on. So the first question is very simple. What is your group of age? As you can see, there's like two-thirds between between 20 to 30. This is the biggest group, the blue and the red one. Just under a quarter is smaller than, younger than 20. That's interesting. It seems like this game seems to draw quite an older audience, I think, for gaming. At least there are some people that have grown up with the Blizzard games, that even people that are older than 30 or even older than 40. And here you can see since when do you play Heroes of the Storm? Most players, at least most participants of this survey, they played this game since alpha and beta. So it seems like the growth has a little bit decreased, or at least all the ones that are very interested in the game are already there. I myself just started at, I think it was August, so yeah, I'm some of this purple group. So this is an interesting thing. Where are you from? At first, yeah, I ranked the top 10 countries left with a flag here. As you can see, here's the USA, very high group. But you can see there's so many different countries, as I said, 86 different countries, and it's really nice that this game is played all around the world, especially strong in North America and across Europe, but also in South America and Australia, Oceania. Yeah, as I said before, it was hard to reach the Asian communities. They seem to be not very active on Reddit or the Battle.net forums. And that's why the number of participants from that region are very small and not representative at all. It's a very big group from the US, and those are very different countries. It's very interesting. There's some names you very seldom hear, like I don't know, Guam or Tanzania, Uzbekistan, or there's some strange place like the Netherlands. Never heard of it though. And here I added the numbers to put them into regions or continents, here to illustrate where the most players sit. It's no surprise that Africa is very low, and the most are in North America. This is just US and Canada. Mexico is added to Middle America, and there's South America and Europe, while I put Russia out of Europe in a own region, and this is the Middle East, Arabia, Caucasia and Central Asia, and this is all Southeast Asia with India. So most of the participants came from the Western world, as you can see. You see the same thing here, the servers. America the biggest one, then Europe very close, and there are very few participants from Asia and China. Now, next question. This is interesting. Which Blizzard game did you enjoy most before you started playing Heroes? Yeah, World of Warcraft is by far the biggest. With Hearthstone and StarCraft following up, and then Warcraft, it's more like the list follows the age of the games, except for Diablo 3, with a little bit lower. But on the other hand, its predecessor, or what's called Diablo 2, is the strongest one. Additionally, I can say Warcraft 3 was especially strong in Russia and Europe, while the players for Hearthstone came more from North America. Yes, so but we have a wide spreading across the different games, and here is another thing about the origin. Have you played another MOBA kind of game more frequently before you start playing Heroes? There's a lot of people coming from no MOBA before. So Heroes of the Storm drew a lot of players to its genre that had never played a MOBA before. The biggest group of game switcher came from League of Legends, and also some from Dota 2, that are the big contesters. The other ones didn't play a big role, and maybe those players that choose the Dota 1 could also be those that played that were dedicated Warcraft 3 players, and that played these mods just for fun. So let's go on. The next picture. So this is another thing. Which big Blizzard universe do you prefer? Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, and Overwatch. Yes, this mirrors the amount of heroes in-game assigned to the universe somehow. There's a big advance for Warcraft. Yeah, most players came from WoW. While Warcraft, the strategy game, is a series which did not get a sequel the longest. Yeah, Overwatch doesn't play a role yet. So, next thing. This, the favorite class. Yeah. The most people like to play assassins, nearly 30%, but overall yeah, it fits somehow, at least if the unassigned players choose to play support if needed. And for the favorite game mode, Quick Match is nearly it's over 50%, and Hero League is the other most important mode. Just some people choose versus IE or Team League as their favorite mode. I'm surprised that so many people like Quick Match over Hero League, but yeah, they're still heads up somehow. I think it's a little bit more casual than this mode. So, we get into the details. That is the favorite map. The winner is Cursed Hollow with 17.4%, followed up by Tomb of the Spider Queen, Dragon Shine, and Infernal Shrine. The last place goes to the Garden of Terror. Yeah, while the new map Towers of Doom is somewhere in the middle. It's interesting that the first ranked maps are all somehow more kind of classic maps with not that strong map mechanics and 3 lanes. There's more special maps with stronger map mechanics like Sky Temple or Towers of Doom, or those with less lanes like Battlefield of Eternity got less votes. Just Garden of Terror falls off somehow in popularity. I think it's somehow more classic design, but it's not very popular. Yeah, I don't know. I for myself, when I play this map, I also think like, I don't know. Well, this is a very nice question. 3 very nice questions. The people will suggest to choose their favorite hero, then the strongest one they think that should be nerfed, and the weakest one that they think that should get a buff. Yes, yes, of course, they all had just one vote, so the results, especially at the lower ranks, doesn't matter, but the top ranks are quite interesting. At favorite heroes, you see the top ranked heroes are all some kind of specialists with a special play mechanics. Abathur, Sylvanas, Murky. Okay, Sylvanas is a babe somehow. I think that's also reason for the popularity, but especially Abathur and Murky have very special game mechanics, and maybe that's why they are often chosen. After that, there are very strong fast-forward heroes like burst damage assassins. See Keltas, Jaina, and Thrall, and Zagara is also strong Nova. Leoric, okay, he has also a specialist playstyle. So the top favorite heroes are those with very special mechanics and those that are very straightforward, full throttle attack ones. Yeah. Altogether the spreading is quite big, I think. You see after those, this is not a high number, 6.9%, and so many things, so many heroes on nearly the same level. Poor Merthurian though. I like Merthurian, but I would also not choose him as my favorite one. He's one of my favorites, but not the very favorite, so maybe he's too mediocre. But he's fun to play. So, the strongest hero is Keltas by far, 53%. This is a big number. This is a really big number. That's whoa. Keltas takes a remarkable first place with over half of the participant votes. He pairs high damage with strong crowd control with the V and the chain bomb. I think the chain bomb also provides some crowd control because the enemies have to move in a special way to counter that. Additionally, his Phoenix ultimate brings good zoning and it has a very low cooldown. And in late game he gets the survivability with his mana shield, or what is it called? This is a shield thing at level 16. Yeah, and after him the current meta heroes lined up, or at least the meta that was there last week, like Tyrande, Diablo, Reyna, Morales, all strong. Thrall, Zagara, Nova. So this is no surprise at all. Again, Merthurian takes the last place. I'm sad, but yeah, well. Who should get a buff? That's Gutzlover, seems like. Watching this list for the weakest hero gives one a great overview of which heroes might need a buff. Yes, especially Gaslov, who takes the most votes and is additionally always listed in last tier in the communities list. Sometimes gets his own last tier. Yeah, he's special, but it's fun to play him, but he's not that strong. After him, it's not always clear, I think, if the hero is underpowered or not always used in his full potential. Some heroes might work just in special composition and are not all-rounder, like, for example, Illidan, I think. I have a trauma from Warcraft 3, where all Night Elf players played him as a basic hero who could do everything, and he's not in that place in this game. He is just variable in special situations, and there are other heroes that have maybe not that good working mechanics, like Tychus when he goes for auto attack, because you have to be standing still for that, and it somehow doesn't seem to fit. There are other heroes that might still are too new and haven't found their playstyle yet, like Lunara, and some have just very small niches, like Anubarak at the moment. Though in Warcraft 3 he was also the very big tank. In Heroes of the Storm he has just the place to be some kind of a CC supporter, so he just brings a lot of crowd control but nothing more. You just choose him in very special situations. Nevertheless, all heroes with lots of votes I think have strong disadvantages somehow, and those could be addressed, but still this balancing needs finesse. Because the balancing should not make all heroes fit into quick matchmaker roles, like not every warrior should have the same level of tankiness, because we need to maintain niches for heroes with special roles or special situations, and that's why balancing heroes should always be focused on draft situations, like it's given in professional play in Hero League. Well, who is the last one? Muradin. Okay, fine. Yeah, Muradin is cool. So, another thing, okay, you might realize that the last patch brought Li Ming, so this data is from half a week ago. But what is the most anticipated hero right now? Yes, Li Ming, Xul and Tracer Tracer from Overwatch here were officially announced yet. Additionally, the Lich from Warcraft 3 and WoW K2Z makes his way into the top group. This is a classical thing. After them, there's Malthael from Diablo and Phoenix from StarCraft, the most wanted out of their universes. And they're still missing some Warcraft heroes like the Shadowhunter Vol'jin, the Blade Master, and the Fire Lord Ragnaros. He's a Dreadlord. Gul'dan is a Warlock. Well, there are so many different choices. Hogger, Gnoll, of course, very funny. And there were some other mentioned in the forums like Grom, Maiev, or Medivh. Here's Medivh, and there's Maiev. So altogether there are still countless possibilities for heroes to come in the future, and it seems like most of them will be laughed in the community. So Blizzard can do here a lot of nice thing, and everybody will be happy somehow. As you can see, 8.3% for other. So we are following up with some basic questions just to get a feeling for these topics. Where do you get your heroes news from? The people. This was the only question where the people could choose more than one option. Reddit seems to be the place to be concerning heroes of the Storm, and seems to be very strong in English-speaking countries. Because most votes for Reddit came from the US, the UK, Canada, and Australia. Sadly, the Battle.net forums are not that popular in that regions. This was clarified when I posted the reminder for this survey on Reddit. The number of participants from the English-speaking countries suddenly skyrocketed. Before that, the percentage of participants from South America, Europe and Russia were way higher, with the UK and Australia out of the top 10, and the US are ranked 3, even behind Russia and Germany. So Reddit brought the difference for that English-speaking countries. So it can be said that the Battle.net forums are way more popular for dedicated players of non-English speaking communities, while Reddit reaches big parts of the English speaking community. So game launch, of course, everybody sees that. So do you follow Heroes of the Storm concerning esports? Yeah, not every participant cares for it, but the potential of the growing esports scene is definitely given, and could be improved by good coverage and tournaments around the world. So these are the very strong ones. So at least there is the like 75% around it could be improved. So this is a good market, I think. So let's go on. There's just some little bit more. Have you ever bought something from the in-game shop? Another interesting question. So so just 3.4% got it all, but yeah, most of the participants are willing to pay at least a little bit. That's what you can draw out of this graphic. Not few even regularly. So this there are some people who buy regularly, like a quarter. The other quarter is like maybe not, not at all. But at least there are a lot of people who are willing to pay at least a little bit, and I think that's a thing that could build on. And there's just this hot slogs. Do you use hot slogs? Hot slogs, never heard of it. 5.2%. No, I know it, but I don't care for it at all. 15.4%. And not regularly, just looking up at statistics from time to time. 34.6%, but nearly 50%. 44.8%. Use it regularly. It's a great tool for comparison and statistical information. Yeah, that seems like the need for some more information and statistics seem definitely given. At the moment, Hotlog is the only reasonably viable source for this need, though it's not uncontroversial. But yeah, maybe Blizzard should bring some more transparency to the game. And last but not least, we have this ranking question. From 1 to worst to 10 best, how would you rate? The creativity and fun factor of the game, 8.64, the concept of shared experience, the concept of talents instead of items. So you can see all this points. I would put things together as that, like, the participants seem to really love the game, and special design decisions that sets it apart from the other MOBA games. So this is all very high points. Of Of course, the speed of new content being added could be faster, and especially the shop prices earn some critics, but it will always be like this, I think. Less points are especially given for balance, but Blizzard just announced that they're trying to increase the frequency of balance patches now. Matchmaking got better, but it still seems to remain a big problem. Worst marks still are given for the heroage system, which still feels like some kind of beta and needs definitely a big overhaul. Yes, and the community, that's something the players should work on themselves. Well, so that's it. Feel free to contact me and give feedback. I'm very happy for every feedback I get. If wanted, and if this enjoys great popularity, I might do it again after the spring season. In between there might be smaller surveys focusing on just one topic. Just maybe follow me on Twitter if you want to, or contact me, and I really appreciate that. Though, thank you a lot, and maybe see or hear you soon.